Welcome to In Case You Missed It, real late news for March 2026. Your go-to video for every new release on streaming and released in theaters, while popcorn is still more expensive than a streaming password. We begin with Netflix. In Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, Cillian Murphy returns as Tommy Shelby in a feature-length continuation of Stephen Knight's acclaimed crime saga. Set nearly 10 years after the series finale, the story drops the Shelbys into the chaos of World War II and sets the stage for the two follow-up limited series planned for the 1950s. Yes, Stephen Knight already has 2 sequel series planned because the man refuses to rest. Alan Ritchson leads this high-octane sci-fi thriller as a soldier facing off against an experimental robotic threat in War Machine. The film pairs Ritchson with Dennis Quaid, Stephen James, and Jai Courtney as a special ops team is forced into a fight against an alien enemy. Emphasis on alien. A former communist organizer and an easygoing man with the live and let live outlook form an unexpected bond during their regular meetings on a park bench in Strangers in the Park, gradually discovering shared humanity beneath their opposing ideologies. Made in Korea brings us Shenba, who gets dumped in Seoul and suddenly has to rebuild her entire life from scratch. New city, new culture, new everything. Through friendships and some painful growth, she figures out how to stand on her own. Think Under the Tuscan Sun, Seoul Edition. In The Red Line, a group of women get scammed by a call center. The police shrug, and the women say, "Fine, we'll do it ourselves." It turns into a do-it-yourself justice mission, which honestly feels like the only way anything gets done anymore. Secret operatives from North and South Korea collide while investigating a string of crimes near the Vladivostok border in Humint, forcing uneasy alliances and escalating tensions. In 53 Sundays, 3 adult siblings gather to figure out how to care for their 86-year-old father, whose increasingly odd behavior has become impossible to ignore. The family meeting starts polite and immediately descends into chaos, like every family meeting ever, but funnier. The Rise of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Our Brother Hillel, is an in-depth look at the formative years of the Red Hot Chili Peppers and the profound influence of original guitarist Hillel Slovak, who died in 1988. The film explores the band's early evolution in LA and the deep bonds forged through their friendship. Harry Styles, One Night in Manchester. Harry Styles performs his new album, Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally, for the first time at a special one-off in Manchester concert recorded on March 6th. Mark Normand fires off jokes about marriage, fatherhood, and whatever hot-button topic he feels like poking that day in his comedy special, Too Pleased. It's fast, it's loose, and he's clearly having a great time being slightly inappropriate. Jeff Frost, Take a Banana for the Ride is a comedy special that brings a heartfelt, funny one-man show to Broadway. It's part comedy, part memoir, part I can't believe he just said that on stage. Aaron Chen, Funny Garden. Australian comedian Aaron Chen delivers dry, offbeat observations about American life, from the riddles hidden in New York sidewalks to the odd places people get their news, all with his signature deadpan delivery. Vladimir is a limited series based on Julia May Jonas's 2022 novel. Rachel Weisz plays a miserable English professor who becomes way too obsessed with a younger colleague, while her husband, also a professor, faces accusations of sexual assault. The Duffer Brothers are back with their first post-Stranger Things project, and the title is basically the vibe. Something very bad is, in fact, going to happen. An engaged couple is 5 days away from their wedding when weird stuff starts happening, because nothing says forever like supernatural red flags. In Hello Bashan, a humble physics teacher becomes the inspirational dad friend of millions of Indian students trying to become doctors and engineers. It's one of those one teacher against the entire broken system stories, very Dead Poets Society, but with more equations. Joan Nesbo's Harry Holla is pronounced exactly that way. Thank you, Northern English bastard. Tobias Santelman stars as the Norwegian detective facing off against a corrupt colleague, played by Joel Kinnaman. It's dark, icy, and absolutely no one smiles. Two people who parted ways in their youth reconnect a decade later in Still Shining, discovering that their shared history still shapes how they navigate love, loss, and adulthood. A burned-out webtoon artist signs up for a virtual dating subscription service in Boyfriend on Demand because apparently even romance has a monthly fee now. Unfortunately, the lines start blurring between real life and her algorithm-approved fantasy men. Three sisters in the Dominican Republic accidentally hit a man with their car, and suddenly it's a moral crisis group project in that night. They're trying to keep the youngest out of jail and her kid from losing a mom, but every choice makes everything worse. Family bonding. Radioactive emergency brings us to 1987 Brazil. Scavengers find a glowing substance in an abandoned hospital, which is already a bad sign, and accidentally kick off a radioactive disaster. Scientists scramble to stop it, and you will absolutely Google, how did this happen in real life afterwards. On Shudder is Body Cam. Two officers respond to a domestic disturbance that ends in an accidental shooting. Desperate to avoid public backlash, they try to cover their tracks, only to realize the cameras aren't the only things watching. It's creepy, tense, and a great reminder that lying is exhausting and you will get caught. AMC Plus has Sean Bean playing a retiring crime boss in This City Is Ours, a crime family saga, whose son and lieutenant immediately start fighting over the empire. It's gritty, British, and absolutely no one is making it out emotionally stable. HBO Max has 3 new shows. A midlife crisis love triangle ends with one person dead in DTF St. Louis. It's a comedic drama starring Jason Bateman, Linda Cardinelli, and David Harbour. So yes, it's funny, sad, and stressful all at once. In Rooster, Steve Carell plays an author who visits his professor daughter at her West Coast college and immediately gets sucked into campus drama. Bill Lawrence is behind it, so expect heart, humor, and at least one emotional monologue. Finally, Privileges is a French thriller about an inmate on day release who takes a job at a luxury hotel and gets caught in a web of power, plays, secrets, and a very questionable relationship with the program director. It's messy, in a chic way. Because Taylor Sheridan refuses to sleep, Paramount Plus brings us more Yellowstone spin-offs. In Marshals, Luke Grimes stars as Kay Stutton, now a U.S. Marshal in Montana. Expect horses, guns, and men who communicate exclusively through squinting. Another Yellowstone spin-off, The Madison, starring Michelle Pfeiffer, Patrick J. Adams, Kurt Russell, and Matthew Fox, follows a New York family relocating to Montana's Madison River Valley. It's prestige drama with cowboy seasoning. Live from Old York, it's Sunday morning? The British SNL streams next day on Peacock. On Prime Video, former soldier Arjun struggles to adapt to civilian life in rural India while trying to repair his strained relationship with his daughter in Subedar. As he confronts corruption and social decay around him, he finds himself fighting a new battle to protect his family. In Zeta, a Spanish intelligence officer is tasked with locating a former spy tied to a long-buried mission, while a Colombian agent pursues the same target. As both close in, secrets unravel, loyalties get messy, and everyone looks great in a trench coat. 5 competitive ballerinas, barely tolerating one another on the way to a major dance event, are stranded when their bus breaks down in a remote forest in Pretty Lethal. Forced to seek refuge at a creepy roadside inn run by Uma Thurman, they soon realize something is terribly wrong. When things turn deadly, they weaponize their dance training. Yes, point shoes become survival tools. Yes, I'm thrilled. Sherlock Holmes gets the origin story treatment with hero finds Tiffin as the teenage detective, young Sherlock. Solving his first big case, Guy Ritchie is involved, so expect snappy editing and Victorian swagger. Nicole Kidman plays medical examiner Kay Scarpetta, hunting a serial killer in Virginia. Jamie Lee Curtis, Bobby Cannavale, and Simon Baker join the cast. It's moody, forensic, and very don't watch this while eating. A trap artist from a humble background falls for a wealthy guy having an existential crisis. in Amour Animal. Their romance sparks a gang war, because apparently love is dangerous now. In Bait, Riz Ahmed plays a struggling actor who spirals over 4 days after getting a chance to audition for James Bond. It's a comedy drama about ambition, identity, and losing your mind just a little bit. Jury Duty Company Retreat, Season 2 moves the mockumentary chaos to a corporate offsite for a hot sauce company. One real guy, everyone else actors, and absolute nonsense ensues. Hulu brings a roster of TV shows and one movie to their lineup, starting with Mike and Nick and Alice. Ben David Grabinski brings us an action comedy time travel buddy gangster mashup that feels like someone dared him to combine every genre at once. James Marsden, Isa Gonzalez, Vince Vaughn, Keith David, Emily Hampshire, Ben Schwartz, Arturo Castro, and Jimmy Tatro all show up to cause problems. In R.J. Decker, Scott Speedman stars as an ex-con, ex-photojournalist who becomes a PI in South Florida. It's based on Carl Hiaasen's Double Whammy, so expect weird crimes, weirder people, and at least one alligator. Siren's Kiss is a mystery melodrama about a dangerous woman who may be a serial killer, and the man who becomes romantically involved with her while trying to uncover the truth. In Your Radiant Season, a man who lives like every day is summer meets a woman who's basically winter personified. Together, they thaw each other out. It's whimsical, dramatic, and their chance meeting changes both of them. Will Forte and Darcy Carden play siblings who try to start a spray tan business and instead fall into the Australian criminal underworld in Sunny Nights. Because of course they do. All 8 episodes dropped at once. The Faithful Women of the Bible is a 3-part Genesis event series focusing on 5 interconnected women. Minnie Driver and Jeffrey Donovan star, and Fox would like you to know all of these stories are true, in case you missed that memo. Disney Plus brings us an international show and a music special. Lucky Luke helps a girl find her missing mother while stopping a plot that could rewrite American history. Just cowboy things. Available in Norway, France, Spain, Germany, and the high seas. In If It's Tuesday, It's Murder, a group of tourists in Lisbon suddenly become a murder investigation squad when one of them dies on day 1. It's like Knives Out, but with more sightseeing. And in Hannah Montana 20th Anniversary, Miley Cyrus sits down with Alex Cooper to revisit the show, the music, the wigs, and the chaos, with archival footage and recreated sets. Nostalgia is about to hit you like a wrecking ball. Apple TV brings us The Hunt. A group of friends on a hunting trip accidentally injures another group, and suddenly they're the ones being hunted. It's tense, paranoid, and based on a 1973 novel after some plagiarism drama. In Imperfect Women, Kate Mara, Elizabeth Moss, and Kerry Washington star in a thriller about 3 lifelong friends whose bond shatters after a crime. This 8-episode thriller is adapted by Annie Weissman from Araminta Hall's novel. MGM Plus has American Classic. Kevin Kline plays a narcissistic Broadway star who returns home after a meltdown and immediately makes everything worse. It's a comedy about ego, family, and theater kids who never grew out of it. PBS brings us The Forsyths, a new adaptation of the Forsyte saga following generations of a wealthy Victorian family. It's lush, dramatic, and full of people repressing their feelings in expensive clothing. The Count of Monte Cristo is done again with Sam Claflin starring as Edmond Dantes in a new masterpiece adaptation with Jeremy Irons as Abby Faria. Revenge, betrayal, prison, treasure, the classics. Theatrical movies released in March start with The Bride. Maggie Gyllenhaal reimagined Bride of Frankenstein in 1930 Chicago with Jessie Buckley and Christian Bale leading a stylish, atmospheric take on the classic monster tale. Reminders of Him is adapted from Colleen Hoover's novel. This drama follows a young mother trying to rebuild her life after prison and reconnect with her daughter, even as she develops feeling for her late boyfriend's best friend. Undertone is an original drama thriller featuring Nina Carey as the host of a popular paranormal podcast who becomes haunted by terrifying recordings mysteriously sent her way. Ryan Gosling stars in Project Hail Mary. This highly anticipated sci-fi survival story based on Andy Weir's novel is directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. A science teacher wakes up alone on a spaceship. As his memory returns, he uncovers a mission to stop a mysterious substance killing Earth's sun, and that an unexpected friendship may be the key. Samara Weaving and Kathryn Newton return in Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, in this horror comedy sequel. After surviving one deadly game, Grace and her sister Faith must now outrun 4 rival families competing for a powerful throne. Winner takes all. 2 underwater outsiders embark on a perilous quest in the Pout Pout Fish to save their aquatic home in this family-friendly adventure, featuring the voices of Nick Offerman, Miranda Otto, and Amy Sedaris. They Will Kill You tries to bring a different spin to horror. Zazie Beetz stars as a woman who takes a housekeeping job in a Manhattan high-rise, unaware of its dark history. As she settles in, she begins to sense that the building's residents and its secrets are far more sinister than they appear. Unfortunately, Forbidden Fruits does not bring a new spin to horror, as it does not know what genre it wants to be. At a mall boutique, Lily Reinhart stars as Apple, who leads a hidden coven of witches alongside co-workers Cherry and Fig. When new hire Pumpkin challenges their rituals, the group must confront their own darkness or face deadly consequences. In Protector, Mila Jovovich and Matthew Modine star in an action thriller where survival is the only plan. Expect running, shooting, and at least one moment where Mila looks extremely cool. A single father attempts to reconnect with his distant teenage daughter in She Dances while accompanying her to a regional dance competition, forcing both of them to confront old wounds and unspoken tensions. Steve Zahn stars with his daughter Audrey and Ethan Hawke. In Slanted, an insecure Chinese-American teenager undergoes an experimental surgery to appear white, hoping to secure the prom queen title and peer acceptance. Three Friends' road trip turns terrifying when they witness a murder in a gated community. Trapped inside the gates, hunted by the residents who blame them, their bond fractures as a charismatic yet sinister patriarch closes in. This is the final completed film role of James Van Der Beek before his death on February 11, 2026. And 2 trailers that I watched that I'm looking forward to seeing are Heels and Hoppers. In Heel, 19-year-old criminal Tommy is abducted by a dysfunctional couple who attempt to forcibly reform him. As their methods grow more disturbing, Tommy must find a way to break free. Finally, in Hoppers, Pixar asked, what if a girl could hop into animals' bodies to understand them? It's cute, it's sci-fi, and it's Pixar, so prepare to cry at least once. In case you missed it, this has been Real Late News for March 2026. See you in April.